Welcome to the Local Insider Podcast, a show about everyday people who make a big difference.
James Brackney, welcome to the show.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
You bet. Hey, it's kind of I have these potential guests that I get in my head from time to time, and you're up there at the top of the list.
I don't really know what to say.
Well,
I'm honored to be here. It's kind of cool. So.
Well, I'm really glad that you came. So what's your story? Where did you grow up? Are you from Logan County, Sebastian County?
No, I grew up in Greenwood. I'm K through 12 in Greenwood. Played football there, and then actually started doing electrical work after the oil field with Josh Boersma.
Mm-hmm.
That got me in Booneville. I was there every day, and then met my wife Paula, and
Paula Swint, right?
Yep, Paula Swint. She ended up dragging me to Booneville. So
that's how you got to Booneville.
That's how I've been to Booneville.
So what do you think about it?
You know, it took a minute.
Yeah.
I was from Glendale, where we live out there by the Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I was always telling my friends, I don't live in Booneville, man. I live out there in Glendale. And then, it was funny. I bought a big paw sticker from one of the cheerleaders
mm-hmm.
at a football game. And, just when Booneville started warming up to me, I put it on my truck, and then my wife, she was kind of like, oh my gosh, I never thought I'd see the day that, you're proud to be from Booneville. No, but I mean, it's an awesome place. It's really grown on me. And, I've still got a lot of friends in Greenwood, and,
right.
They're kind of always just kind of like, hey, what do you think of Booneville? I'm like, man, I love it. My kids love it. It's been both my kids, they've been to bigger schools, and, when they were little, and now they live in Booneville, and they just, everybody loves it. I really like the town. I like the people.
Awesome.
It's a great place to have business for sure.
So, now that you're converted with your Bearcat paw on your vehicle, that's kind of one of the reasons I started this whole operation was, it was, around about a time when, a guy that I grew up with, he was beat to death here in town.
Yeah.
And, you haven't heard any news media about Booneville in a couple of years, mm-hmm. as far as, mainstream, as what we would call mainstream, but they just plastered that everywhere.
Right.
So any bad news they want to report on, but any of the good stuff they don't care about. So,
yeah.
So that's kind of, I was like, Booneville's not we're not the worst.
No, pretty much anybody that talks about it, there was, kind of a big crash. Apparently this was before I got here. And, when the plant burned down,
right.
I had a lot of friends in high school that were from Booneville, and, I would come into town and hang out with them and stuff. And then it seemed like just somewhere in the mix, everything kind of really went downhill for a minute. And
mm-hmm.
then, but, since I've lived here, I've got to see it really kind of on an upward swing. And,
right.
A lot of the people that we talk to, in town, other business owners and families, everybody's really excited,
mm-hmm.
that things, especially like downtown, we get, of course we see that every day.
Right.
And,
right in your backyard.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it seems like a whole bunch of stuff's going in, and there's a lot of stuff happening downtown, and it means something when you pull into town, you've never been there before. You're kind of like, man, this is kind of a cool little place,
right.
instead of a ghost town. And,
exactly.
And from what I hear, I wasn't here when that was going on, but, it got kind of ghost towny, and
right.
Really, really took a dive. And, but I really think it's on the upward swing.
And I think it's not just Booneville. I think kind of, the small town, you may have small towns that had a couple industries that mm-hmm. supported them. It kind of happened everywhere.
Yeah.
Greenwood's probably not affected as much because they're kind of a bedroom community of Fort Smith,
right.
which has much more industry. But, other towns, like on the way to Little Rock, if you take 10 to Little Rock, they're still decimated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to speak ill of anyone, but there's still, you can tell they're hurting in places where they used to have a little diner, or,
yeah.
they had the income in the area to support it where they don't now.
Yeah, that's, and my wife and I talk about that kind of stuff all the time. We're always, this could be a really cool little town. Like what happened,
Mm-hmm.
and, kind of the same thing when you say there was always that little restaurant. COVID, I think, wiped out anything that was kind of struggling. And it's really, really sad because, when you have a memory of a place when you're driving through a little town and then
Mm-hmm.
now it's gone. But yeah, it's, I think it hit everybody pretty hard.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to open Black Dog?
We really, I've always loved cooking. Especially, in college, we had a George Foreman grill
Mm-hmm.
and nobody wanted to do anything ever. And so we would all kind of put our money together and, we'd eat some super cheap steaks and it was fun cooking, for everybody. And it was just kind of my little role as in the group that we would, if we were cooking, I was cooking. And then, one thing led to another, and I've always enjoyed cooking for people and having people over to our house. And then we built this neat outdoor kitchen a few years back, and we've always got my dogs out there, and that's kind of where the name for everything come from. But if you come over to my house to eat, you're petting a dog and you're playing fetch with one of my dogs, and so thought of different names, and it was the Black Dog Tavern, and it got to a point. There was one night we had like 100 people at a crawfish boil, and you always hear it like, man, you ought to open a restaurant. You ought to open a restaurant. You ought to open a restaurant. And we're kind of always like, nah, it's don't really want to do that. And then we started making the jerky,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it got its name. Was it was in the Black Dog Tavern that we were making the jerky, and we put it out on Facebook, and it was just instantly couldn't keep up with it. Nobody even tried it yet. And it was just, I need 2 bags. I need 4 bags. I need, 10 bags. So we were constantly trying to keep up with orders.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got the restaurant, downtown, we were really just looking for a place to have, to just sell jerky. It was just going to be like a hub.
Really?
And that was it. And
So this whole operation started as a storefront where you could sell your jerky.
yeah, I was thinking, I envisioned, just wall to wall jerky, some t-shirts, and then, I kind of smiled at my wife. I was just like, I'm not going to be able to not cook back there, right? So, but honestly, where the idea for it all come from was, we had a construction business, and we were up in Iowa, and there was this little place called Lee Wright Meats. I don't think it's in business anymore, but it was in a little bitty, teeny tiny town. And if you didn't get there at the right time, you're just waiting forever. And there was 4 or 5 girls, and the owner was always there to greet you, and it was wall to wall, with freezers and stuff that you could, reach in. And it seemed like every day I was getting 2 steaks and, some sausages or some hamburger meat, and I'd go up there and buy me an $8 sandwich, and I was spending $40. And so I was like, what a genius idea to sit here and look at all this meat. And so really, when we started doing the jerky, I was like, man, this is a good idea. I kind of want it to be like that place. So let's just make sandwiches. And then here we go. Now we're going to cook sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it kind of got, to the point of burgers. And when we opened, we weren't going to do burgers. So we just said, no, we're just keep it sandwiches. Let's keep it fresh meats. And then I kind of got a wild hair one day and said, you know what, let's get some really good meat. Some of these steaks that we were having, the steaks are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And so the same supplier, was just like, we got hamburger meat from these same people. And so we got the hamburger meat in, we tried one burger and fell in love with it. And it just took off, man. It was now burgers are by far the biggest seller. The sandwiches keep up a lot of business, but
Mm-hmm.
man, the burgers really, I didn't expect that. And, so yeah, it started off, we were going to do jerky, and then we kind of started thinking, let's do fresh meat sandwiches. I kind of like that place up there in Iowa. And then, man, it just did not expect the first day when it opened up, to be what it was. And it just, it was wild. Day one was, was insane. But,
So what, surely you have a favorite item on the menu. What's your favorite item?
it's gotta be the Reuben, just because everything in it, the only thing we don't make is the bread. And, but every ingredient in there we make, it takes, 5 days to 2 weeks to make the pastrami. We make the sauerkraut, which takes 5 weeks to make. We make all the sauces and everything on the coleslaw and all the seasonings that go with it. And so
to me, you make the coleslaw?
Yeah.
Wow.
We make everything down there. That's the thing I like about the Reuben. It's kind of like everything in there, I made it, and so that's kind of my baby. And so when people come in and they're like, I know I want the best thing on the menu, it's like, I'd go with the Reuben,
mm-hmm.
but, if they're looking for a burger or something, we tell them something different. But no, the Reuben's probably my baby. If I've got one, it'll never leave the menu.
Awesome. So you, what role does social media play in your business?
Oof, it's everything. You can tell if my wife posts that we're going to do some form of special, like the night before,
mm-hmm.
it is, everybody's getting it. It's just, and that's how they heard it. They saw it on Facebook, and it's a big hit. You can tell when we don't do it, and you can tell when we do it in the morning,
mm-hmm.
where a lot of people haven't got to see it yet. And then, but if you post something the night before, that's it. That's the item that day. And so you can tell people are seeing it. Hey, I want what I saw on Facebook last night.
Mm-hmm. So do you just use Facebook, or do you use Instagram, TikTok?
We've started doing some TikTok stuff, and we talk about it every day. Like, we could be TikTok, all these, that's all
mm-hmm.
I ever watch. And so
same here.
It's always cooking videos, or, like right now it's, baseball stuff with my son and basketball drills and things, but 99% of what I am looking at, it's cooking stuff. And, my wife tell you, there's been a lot of nights laying in bed where she's like, are you ever going to get done watching cooking videos? I'm just constantly learning.
This is market research.
Yes,
You're just doing work.
Really, anything that makes me scratch my head, I'm kind of like, okay, I think let's do that this week. And
you got to be careful though. There's some people on there. It's just total cat.
Yeah.
That's what my kids say. Oh, it's cat. Cause I've made some recipes, and they're like, one of them was like a water pie, and I was like, how could I have been so stupid? And you add all this stuff, and it's supposed to, and it looked like I don't know if you've ever heard of a chess pie.
No,
It's like buttermilk chess pie. It's an old fashioned Southern pie, and it's really not that rich, but it's sweet.
Right.
Anyway, it was, yeah, you gotta watch the recipes you do. But I guess if you cook as much as you could probably recognize it.
No, they're not all home runs. I mean, we come up with stuff, and normally we try everything the day before. So, a lot of times I'll make something that's been on my mind, and, we'll eat it. And if we don't all go, this is amazing,
mm-hmm.
then, it's kind of, sometimes we're to the point now where, not everything's awesome.
Right.
So we kind of go, yeah, you know what, this one, we'll save that for another day. But every now and again, man, they come up and, they stick. And,
mm-hmm.
and normally it's just from one little thing that I saw, if somebody's cooking a burger and they do something different with the cheese. It's kind of like, hey, that's a pretty good idea. I've never really thought about doing that. And then, so we'll take that and we'll spin it our own way.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, there we have something. So a lot of that kind of stuff with social media and TikTok,
mm-hmm.
That plays a big part in some of our recipes, just getting ideas. And, there's things that are really popular that I don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
You see them and you're kind of like, man, I never would have ever thought people would like that,
Right.
So we, it's pretty heavy hitter as far as with our business.
Yeah, I saw one yesterday where they put like Starbursts in the basket of a coffee pot and poured tequila in the coffee maker.
I'm interested.
I was like, that is dangerous.
Yeah, that would be pretty scary. Yeah, tequila, that's kind of my, that's my kryptonite, I guess.
Yeah. So how do you handle, I know you guys are, anytime I go in there, it's, the line goes around the center table once, and then sometimes it's out the door, especially if there's an event going on.
Yeah.
There's a line that goes out the door. Did you anticipate that at all?
No. Not at all. In fact, the first day that we open, we always, there's 2 big days that stick with us. I guess 3 if you want to throw in our first steak night, but first day that we open and then the first day that we did hibachi.
Mm-hmm.
I never ever would have expected that many people. In fact, we didn't even post that we were going to open, and we planned to do it on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, we'll get Friday out of the way, and it gives us all weekend to recoup from it. We're not putting it on social media. We're not telling a soul. All we're going to do is flip the sign. And we flipped that sign, and it was 30 minutes into it. That phone started ringing, and we were kind of like, how do people have our phone number? We don't even, and it was somebody posted a picture of our menu and said, you guys got to get down here and eat this place. And it was just like, just everybody, there was people that were there that I didn't even say hi to on that first day. And they were like, that food was really good. And it was like, I didn't even know you were here. And it was absolute chaos. But, with hibachi, that was kind of the same thing. There was, I think there was a time Steve Reed was just kind of like, hey man, I kind of needed my parking spot. We had cars parked driving all the way down the road. And, but no, it's just every time we do something, I feel like we just, once you get into the flow of it,
Mm-hmm.
As long as nothing messes that up, it starts getting easier and easier and easier. But, anything, any little thing can mess all that up.
Mm-hmm.
Just almost to the point of like if a customer wants to talk to Paula about something, and I get mad at her all the time. They'll want to come in and talk about softball or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, and I'm back there just drowning. And I'm like, oh, come on, we got to go. But no, that really just, and we keep everything very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our ingredients will interchange to. We don't have just a ton of stuff, and that makes it pretty easy too.
Mm-hmm.
But keeping it simple. And then Paula and I have just gotten to where, we'll be crossing our arms and hands and stuff, and people are like, how in the world do you work when you don't spill everything? And it's like, I don't really know. But if you walk back there in that kitchen, you're like, hey, let me help you with the ketchup. We'd be bumping into each other.
Right.
And we'd be like, this doesn't work. But no, it, really just kind of keeping your head down.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to stay focused back there when, like you said, when there's a line out the door and there's, the ticket line is super long. And I think just not getting overwhelmed and really frustrated, just kind of always, we can get out of this. We can get out of this. We can get out of this. And we stress about it because, we go to places that, we'll wait forever for our food. And my wife and I are not complainers.
Mm-hmm.
If we go to a place and it takes a while to get our food, we kind of got that, like, we're from a restaurant. We
Right.
get it. There could be a million things back there that's causing this. So we try not to get too carried away, but like we feel pretty good about ourselves that even when it's like that, if you wait 15 minutes for your food, I feel like I've failed. And normally, that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to just pump everything out as fast as possible. And I think that just keeping that fast pace,
Sure.
really helps out a lot when that line is out the door and people are waiting.
Two things. First thing, you said you and your wife, when you're in the kitchen, you're kind of like one mind. How important is that? There's a lot of people that say that it doesn't work if you work with your spouse.
Right.
But I beg to differ. My wife, if I didn't have her, I would have the wrong shoes on. I have two different shoes on. She helps me tremendously on the organizational side. She's very organized, very left-brained, and I'm on the other side. So how important is it that your wife and you are doing this? And the second question is, how do you pull somebody else into that as far as hiring another employee?
The second one is definitely the biggest hurdle. And being in a small town, there's not a huge, amount of people that you can, like, we don't have people lined up just going, hey, when can I get a job or anything like that? We almost have to just be like, do you guys know anybody that's looking for a job? And then, it's difficult because especially in that restaurant, we're in such tight quarters that it can't just be anybody. And you got, like, Lee works with us, when she gets out of school, and that's a big help. But like, we got to make sure that person could get along with Lee if they're working together. They got to get along. I'm not that easy to work with. I feel like I'm easy to work with, but I know that when I get stressed out, it's kind of everybody out of my way kind of thing.
And that's one of those things that your wife would know, and
Yeah.
she wouldn't take offense to it. She just knows.
No, and I think the answer to all that with her is we both had the exact same goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like my job is to make everything taste as good as possible
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that all of our ingredients are what we want. And, and her goal is to make sure that everything looks exactly like that picture. And that's a big deal.
Right.
We've gotten comments and they're like, it's not very often that you see a picture of something that is all dolled up. And then when you get it, it looks that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is, if the sauce is a little bit different color, she's straight right there going, hey, this doesn't look like the picture. And I'm like, they're not gonna care. She's like, no, fix it now. And like that kind of, she keeps me in check.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with us having the same goal in mind of, it's not, gosh, how do you say this right? It's not always about trying to make money,
Right.
but it is like, we think about it all the time. This is our name on this. It's our product that's going out the door. This is what people are going to talk about, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we want, we have the same goal. It's not just kind of like, we got their money, who cares, next. We do not have that mentality, at all, especially her. I get that way when we're super busy, like, hey, we ain't got time. We got to hurry up. Come on. And she's like, no, it's this way or it's not happening at all. And
that's one thing I noticed about anything on your menu. It's the little things that set you apart from your competition, and from the sandwich that has your brand, grilled into it.
Yeah.
To, like you said, the sauce. You can go anywhere, any greasy spoon, and they can fry a greasy burger and throw it in a checkered colored napkin,
right.
and send it out the door. The difference is, the minutia, the small,
right.
every little detail. Because
Absolutely.
we eat with our eyes first.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We say that, we say that all the time, and that's one good compliment that we constantly get when people do leave any kind of review or anything, like, love the place, love the atmosphere. The people were super nice that work there, and that's great, because when you said you eat with your eyes, there's been a lot of times, I won't say the name of the place, but we ate at a place in Conway, and right off the bat when we got there, I didn't like it. It was cool. It was a little bit hole in the wall. And the food was okay. But like the whole time I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. and it's just like, but so to me, the food wasn't that great. It might have been really good. And
Right.
Like you said, sometimes it's right when you walk in, it kind of ruins it for you. And, you're expecting bad food or you're expecting good food when you
Mm-hmm.
get there. It's definitely eat with your eyes first is the thing that we kind of swear by.
Man,
I'm gonna kill that thing.
It's rabid. We're gonna name him if he stays around.
Get his opinion.
So how do you deal with negative feedback?
Luckily, there hasn't been very much. And the ones that we do get, I don't really want to say it's not our fault in a way, but like we get complaints. They're not open long enough.
Mm-hmm.
To us, that's a big one because we open this business up to be a family business, and
Mm-hmm.
like we're not missing a thing that our kids are doing. We're sad about it right now that we got 7 years left, and then my youngest daughter, she's going to be gone,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like we can work more in 7 years,
Right.
but like right now, it is the second we get off work, it's to picking the kids up, and then they're all into something. So, and then Lee's playing softball right now, and it's all over the place. But to back on the point, we get that complaint, and it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, well, what do you want us to do about it? Like we're not skipping our kids,
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and then.
So, let's say somebody were to leave a bad comment on a Facebook post, or God forbid a Google review, how would you engage them? Would you?
Normally, we don't ever even respond.
Okay.
And, we don't don't feed the trolls.
Mhm.
That's this, but we kind of had one the other day. Let's see, it was over bologna. And, no, I mean, and that one is weird to me because we go through an enormous amount of it.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of like, we've got all this fresh cut ribeye. We've got the best burger meat. I buy the best chicken. We cook everything fresh right there to order. And like when we run out of bologna, it is a big deal. People get so mad. It's just kind of like, why are you here for bologna?
So it's never a complaint of the quality or the service.
No,
it's always, people are upset because they can't get more of what you're selling.
And the only time that Paula has ever really kind of, talked back to somebody, they left a 1-star review, and, we've been a 5-star and for pretty much all this time. And they left one and they just said, I've been here twice and I couldn't get bologna. And we're like, and Paula's like, hey, that seems a little harsh for a small town, small business, that we sell so much of it that we're out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't get, we have a whole menu. You could have tried anything else. And then if you didn't like that, then leave a bad review. But
right.
It's things like that. And I think a lot of it that keeps us kind of grounded is, when if you leave me a bad review and I don't know who you are, we'll look you up on Facebook and be like, who is this person? And why are they like this?
It's like the lead breakers.
And it's like, but the thing is, on the very few, we've got like one lady has left us 2 bad reviews, but that's all she does.
Right.
On Facebook, she bashes everything. She hates her mayor of her town. She hates all the businesses in town. That's all. So we kind of don't take it too personal. Like, hey, you know what? This is how this lady is. So, we don't respond to people like that. But the bologna lady, that kind of, that bums us out because, if you're not from here and you drive in and you're like, man, somebody left them a 1-star review, might make you not eat there. And that kind of stinks. But
I would look at the context of it. So it's like you look at a hotel, what's the worst reviews?
Right.
I'm not going to say what the worst problem a hotel could have because you've been in construction, you know what it would be. But I would say they were out of that's baloney.
Right. That's what we should have said.
So, you mentioned, Steve,
Good guy.
Mentioned him, earlier about, he couldn't get into his parking spot. One of the things I wanted to point out, we were talking whenever I asked you to come on the show, and anybody that lives here and is active in the business community at all knows, that we all work together and you guys kind of, you guys do that really well. There was a story that I heard that, when, Steve had to go to the hospital, I'm not going to say for whatever reason, Steve was out and that you guys, closed your store up and went over and helped out. And that just kind of, embodies what I think Booneville is and why we are different than other places.
We wouldn't be a business without Steve.
Mm-hmm.
That, and, he'd probably laugh if he heard me say that or if he hears me say that. But, every corner of our restaurant, there's something. Steve let me have those chairs. That table over there, Steve let me have that. For real, the flat top grill that I cook on, he gave to me.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I asked him, I was like, all right, why are you doing this? Man, I'm going to be competition. He said, no, we're not competition. He said that, the more the merrier.
Right.
And I didn't think like that. I was like, Steve's not going to like me, putting in a restaurant right next to him. These guys over here aren't going to like me, doing that. But it was absolutely the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody really helps each other out. And, if I need anything, I go over there and ask them, hey, we got something coming in tomorrow. Can I borrow this for a minute? And, it's always yes. And then, they've done that with us and, Pinamos has done the same. Everybody really works together and everybody's busy. And that was one main thing with Steve. One big lesson that he taught me right off the bat. I was like, hey man, are we, you think town's going to support this, and he's like, oh yeah, it will, but that's not going to be your business. He said, your business is going to come from out of town. And I was like, really? And I said, so he goes, yeah, it's like 75% of my business. And I don't know if that's true anymore, but he was like, so many people come from out of town. He said, yeah, we've got our locals that come in all the time and, people that eat there, once a week. But like a big part of people come from out of town. And when it come down to competition, when I thought of like, am I going to be as competition to him? He just said, no, we're all going to be busy.
Mm-hmm.
And that is absolutely 100% true. And you can, there's days that I could call him and just go, you're dead, aren't you? And he's like, yeah, we're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because the Mexican restaurant's dead. We're dead. Steve's dead. But then like at the same time, when that street starts filling up, you're slammed, aren't you? Like, and there's times that, we don't even have time to talk to each other,
mm-hmm.
When we're passing, it's just, we're pretty hooked up. And so it's kind of a neat deal that it's definitely a good lesson that I've learned in all this, that I don't really think of anything as competition.
Right.
It's very, very rare that like we're not busy and everybody went to go eat Mexican that day.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very rare. It's usually when everybody's out eating, we get people from all over that come in and it's really good for the town that you
mm-hmm.
got, quite a few good restaurants in town. And I'm leaving out the, pizza place. Same thing,
right.
Pizza Italia, same deal, I know that they're always busy, on those same days that
mm-hmm.
we are. So it's pretty cool. It's a neat little, I don't really want to call it a community or anything like that, but it's neat where everybody,
mm-hmm.
we're all pretty friendly with each other, and and that's where everybody eats too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Where I thought it was going to be competitive, it's the total opposite.
Right.
It's really, Steve and I have shared recipes with each other. It's one of the funnest things that we do is I'll cook something and go take it over to him. He cooks something and brings it over to me, and it's kind of surprised. Hey, this is what I'm working on. To me, that's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there's a lot of times I just go hang out in his little smoke shack with him, and just anytime he talks, I try to just listen.
Right.
And, cause he's never going to steer you the wrong way. That's for sure. And as far as that, that day that, he got, he went to the doctor, we didn't really do anything. We just went and helped out on the fryer, but me and Paula at the exact same time, if anything happened to me, Steve would be,
mm-hmm.
And that was the first thing that went through our brain. And we didn't even hear about it from them. It was one of our suppliers come in. They were like, guys, Reed's is chaos right now. Steve didn't make it to work today. And we were kind of like, what? Wait, what's going on? And so then we took off over there. And what's crazy about that day, is everything was just completely under control.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an army over there, Carly and Cassie and them, David and all them, and they all just went through it,
mm-hmm.
and they picked it up and just said, hey, we're not closing,
right.
So yeah, we get way, way, way too much credit for that day for just going over there to help out, because it was just our thought, that he would do it for us.
It's what you did, you closed your store to help a fellow business owner out.
Yeah.
It's not the work that you did. It's the gesture, I think, that makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. Because if it were like you thought in the beginning, and that's initially what I thought when I was learning business,
mm-hmm.
like, you see the Mr. Burns or Mr. Scrooge, everybody.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
No,
but
definitely not.
What you find is the more you help other people, the more it comes back to you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're only ever in competition with yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. I really agree with that a lot. And it's just, that was, I'm glad it's not that way, because
mm-hmm.
it really wouldn't be as fun. And I enjoy going to work every day. I absolutely love it. And, I enjoy the time that I do get to spend with Steve, I'm glad it's not. It's friendly competition,
mm-hmm.
if you want to call it anything, and that's it's fun to me.
And to me, I think that Steve and you and the Carries and Daniel and everybody at Penhama, I think they've kind of shine a light on what we how we can make it back from this. And that's kind of how the stage, everything's kind of following a certain pattern.
Right.
And, you know, there's not going to be any more industry for a while. We know that we're in a service economy now.
Right.
So if we can bring people in for entertainment and food, we have things here that people want to see, the mountain, the hiking trails, you know, things like that. Plus we're on a busy highway that goes to Little Rock, you know.
Busy lake.
Yeah.
Busy lake too, you know, there's a lot of lakes.
So when people want to, you know, we just want to carve out our niche and say, hey, do you want to go north or do you want to take the better way through 10, you know?
Right. Absolutely. No, it's.
You want to take the interstate, which is vanilla and 40 is terrible, or?
It's cool because it is a busy town.
Mm-hmm.
And it could, I don't know, I just feel like it's only going to keep, you know, getting better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that the more small businesses that keep doing it, you know, I think the town's just going to keep getting better. It's going to be more of a, you know, definitely a place to come to. And it's neat too, because you hear a lot of people that, you know, are from out of town. We get a ton of people from Greenwood that come down and make the drive. And, you know, you're kind of like, man, you drove 30 minutes to come down here and eat. And it's, you know, it's just to what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we wanted to get out of the house. You know, it's a beautiful day. You know, it's kind of like, wow, and you pick Booneville to come to. That's pretty cool. You know,
yeah.
And it's not just, it's everywhere. People from all over the place come in. So.
Yeah. One day I was, eating lunch in there and, I had it was a business, acquaintance that I knew who was with the radio station, I think. And I was sitting next to people that were from Little Rock and they say they wait to eat lunch so they can stop in and eat at Black Dog or Reed's. Yep. You know, they alternate. So yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that.
That's pretty cool. You know, when people come from a long way away,
mm-hmm.
that really, on a bad day, that really, that kind of boosts you up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you was that far to come down here? Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're like, yeah, I was passing through and like, where are you going? And they're like, Booneville's nowhere on there. Like, yeah, it's 80 miles out of the way, but like, you know, it's like, well, that's pretty awesome. Cause yeah, it's the same thing with a lot of people come to town for the food.
So what would you say? We touched on a little bit, you know, on the food prep and the presentation, but as far as, on a personal level with your store, you and your team, what would you say your core values are?
I mean, definitely quality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we said right off the bat, we'll close the doors before we go cheap on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that's one, as far as the product that we put out, I think quality stands number one.
Mm-hmm.
But family and you know, family would definitely be one of the top
mm-hmm.
main things that we, you know, like I said, we talked about earlier, we're not going to miss, you know, I miss some of Lee's stuff, but Paula will not,
mm-hmm.
you know, and, you know, sometimes I have to finish cleaning the store for, you know, her to go to a basketball game or a softball game or something. But like, definitely quality and family and, you know, we try to keep everything godly too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we used to have a Bible verse on the back of our sign and, you know, we built a new sign. We haven't put it on there yet, but like people would come in just because of that. And they're like, this is awesome. You know,
mm-hmm.
that you got a place that will put that on a sign. And
right.
You're like, you know, so we try to keep those three, values,
mm-hmm.
just all out in front. Cause I mean, that's what we're doing.
Right. I think you touched on an interesting point there. Now, you know, we are led to believe, or what we tried, the overarching powers that be, whoever they are, scary guys in smoky
mm-hmm.
field rooms or whatever, they lead you to believe that any time that you speak about your faith, you need to be, you know, don't associate it with your business, you'll get canceled. Or, you know, now we are learning that if you stand on your values, you're actually, you know, we're not alone, that we are the silent majority.
Yeah.
That you stand behind what you love and, you know, it, like I said before, it'll all come back to you. So.
Well, we're, you know, I guess the the number one word for me and the family and the business is blessed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we forget that that's probably the one thing that we are always, you know, when we get stressed out, we're always just like, wait a minute, you know, we're absolutely blessed, and you know, there's a reason
Mm-hmm.
for it, and it's not anything that, you know, we're doing, because, you know, God could shut the whole thing down tomorrow and we couldn't do anything about it. So, but yeah, we stay away from politics.
Right.
You know, you
Yeah.
don't, that's kind of a touchy one that you're like, I don't know. And, you know, we used to hang signs in our windows and we never had any problem with that. But like, we'd say, hey, are you not going to put a sign up? And they're like, you know what? It's probably best. I don't want anything bad to happen to you.
Right.
You know, we're like, no, I don't really think that would happen. But no, we stay away from politics.
All
sure,
politics, even local politics. Right?
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, like with the local politics, first off, we live out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we don't live inside the city limits, so we can't vote anyway. So we don't want to tell anybody, but we're friends with everybody too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we don't want to I don't want you coming in and being like, hey, how come you got that sign up in the window? And
Yeah, what's up with that?
You can put yours too if you want.
Yeah.
We don't really care of it. No, we don't really, I don't like using the word offended, but you know,
Yeah.
some of these people, you know, I coach their kids
Mm-hmm.
in football and baseball and basketball, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to, you know, we have regulars that come in all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, I'm not getting in the middle of any of it. I like both of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
If I could vote, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I can't, so it doesn't matter. So,
Right.
but yeah, we try to stay out of that as much as possible.
So who's the one person that's inspired you the most?
You know, I don't really know how to answer that.
You have an uncle or dad or brother?
You know, my parents cooked a lot. I have an aunt that's up in Kansas that she loves cooking, and I love cooking with her. And, as far as, you know, somebody that's inspired me, I don't know. It's probably just always having a passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, growing up watching Emeril Lagasse, you know, bam, bam, bam on everything, and he got super popular and it was fun, you know.
Mine was Jacques Pepin.
Yeah. You know, and now it's all the people that I grew up, you know, those are the documentaries and stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I want to watch, and it's, I don't know, some of them are pretty cool where it's the little guy, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that does something awesome. You know, those are inspiring to me, that like, hey, we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, hearing about small businesses, you know, making it big, that's probably my main inspiration, I guess.
So how do you know when to expand?
Oof. Well, we're in the works. We're thinking in the next maybe next year, to expand to a bigger place. And, but that is something that we don't really know how to plan for it. You know, when you get bigger, like right now, it's great because if lead can't come to work one day, you know, it's going to be a little bit slower in there, and we'll warn people, but me and Paula can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice that, my brother-in-law Wes comes in, you know, from time to time to work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice that we can count on him to come in, but it scares me to death to think I got to rely on a staff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if two people don't want to show up to work today, we're doomed. Like, that is terrifying. And, and you know, right now it is just Paula and I working, and, you know, I don't have a plan B at the moment for, a cook or somebody to
Mm-hmm.
do my job. And so expanding means I'm going to need some help, you
Mm-hmm.
know, for a bigger volume, a bigger place. You know, we're going to need people to come in and maybe wait on tables, you know, help, you know, the jerky side of it, you know, we're really trying to get boosted up in the next year or so. And that's hard to do when, you know, we're playing sports, you know,
Mm-hmm.
6-7 days a week. And, so, you know, relying on people is going to be tough. That's the hardest, that's going to be the biggest hurdle for us, is letting go of some responsibilities. And once again, we're never gonna, quality is number one.
Mm-hmm.
We're terrified of hearing that Well, it was good when they were doing it, and then they got a new cook, and it's not as good now. And
it's like a new lead singer for a band.
Yeah, but I mean, you hear about it all the time too. Like if somebody's got 2 locations, you're like, man, it was really good when this guy had the one in. Let's just say if it was Booneville, I would hate to. We talk about like having a business in Greenwood or Fort Smith or anything.
Franchising.
Yeah, and it's just like we don't want people to go to the one in Greenwood, and the cook have a bad day down there, and people are like, oh, Black Knuckle is not what it used to be. And we never want it to be like, well, when James is cooking, it's good. No, we don't. It's either that's a big hurdle for us because we're like finding that person that cares as much as that I do and Paula does about it is tough. And she'll tell you, I'll make one sandwich. I'll put one together. And she's like, why did you do it like this? And I'm like, I'm sorry. This is not my job. It's not what I do. I said, so she's always making the comment like, I could never go get another job and leave you alone for 5 minutes in this place. And she's definitely right. But, I hope she doesn't hear that, but it's hard for me to say that, but no, she's 100% right. But, that, when to expand, I think it's going to another town may never happen. But, getting a bigger place and, that's possibly in the works and we'll, if we can handle it, that's kind of the main thing that we're worried about is how we're going to do it and if we can do it.
So it's, as far as your routine of goal setting and stuff, do you visualize it? Do you guys write out a plan? This is our goals and that's like kind of where you're aiming for now, or is it just you live every day to the fullest and you're going to roll with the punches? How do you?
Well, I would love to say we have goals, and we do, but yeah, we don't write anything down, and there's never really like a hard date on anything. And main thing is just basically the kids.
Right.
If we had all the time in the world, we joke about it like, Drake's going to be in 7th grade next year. And so, and I've coached him in football, since he was in 3rd grade. So, and that's 3 nights a week. And then we played on Saturdays. So we're really looking forward to next year where it's like, we got 1 game a week. I'm not coaching, he's getting all his stuff with the coaches at school. And so we're kind of like, what are we going to do next fall? And so we're hoping that things like that help us out with reaching goals. And, the main ones like the jerky,
and warm weather foods, like chilies and stews. And we,
it's as far as being goal oriented, it's tough to do that. Like I said, when we're as fast paced as we are right now, it's hard to, we've got projects at home that, we haven't touched and it's like, I've got a case in point. I got a boat. I've been restoring a boat for like 2 years. I say like, I want to be ready by April with this boat. And now I'm shooting for 4th of July because last 4th of July, I was wanting to have that boat ready. It's still not ready. So, it's tough to set goals. So yeah, I would say probably just rolling with the punches and, living every day and getting through every day is kind of the way we are right now. But yeah, I'd like to get more goal oriented in the future, but it's going to have to slow down a little bit before we can do that really. So.
So what role does discipline play in your routine?
What do you mean?
So, like some days you open for breakfast. Is it like my feet are going to hit the floor.
What mood I'm in.
I'm going to hit the floor at 5 o'clock. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to
no, every day is pretty, Mondays are only real spin-off that if we want to get anything done, we don't open for breakfast Monday morning. But really every day is about the same. I wake up, get the kids up. Mondays I take them to school. That's the only time that, I like to be at work, about 30 minutes early and kind of take a deep breath and get ready for it. But not super disciplined. I have my days. That's why we put 8-ish on the sign. And Some days it might be 8:10 before I let
that's
you in.
a common characteristic of a creative person. I can tell you.
It's not lazy, I promise. It's not lazy. I'm usually, sometimes it's just, sometimes I need a minute.
Yeah.
and any little thing in the morning can trigger me and, I don't want to have a bad day. So, but no, I wouldn't say I'm super disciplined, but I mean, it's usually wake up about the same time every day and get the kids up and try my best to get to work early, because it's a lot just to get ready for, 10 o'clock, when we open at 8, and just to be ready for that lunch rush. Some days it doesn't happen. And I wish that I was a lot more disciplined where, like right now, I wouldn't be at the store working, but it would be smart for me to be there getting everything ready for tomorrow. But man, at the end of the day, I'm just gassed and I don't, so really just get up and go, I can get it all done in the morning. So, not super disciplined.
So what are you most excited about right now?
As far as the restaurant or
the town, the country?
Yeah. The town definitely, I'm excited to see the park, get up and going. And
the stage and all that.
Yeah. I think that's going to be really cool. And some of the, I'm anxious to see what all that's going to bring, and, excited for the restaurant for that matter of, there's going to be some nights, and I love doing different things. So there's going to be some nights that come up where it's going to be, steak and shrimp. It's going to be a big special, and I enjoy doing stuff like that for the concert. And, when there's a concert going on, I'm really anxious to see how all that plays out on the nights that there's somebody big coming into town, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. But, no, I don't guess I get too excited about much down there anymore. Just, it's a constant battle of just being ready for the next day. So, I don't really look forward to much more than the end of the week where I can chill out for a minute. But
so do you plan to extend your hours or shift your hours to be open when there's a big name band going to be on the stage?
Oh yeah, definitely. If nothing's going on with the kids that evening and it's something that we can do, oh yeah, we'll definitely, we'll want to be open. And, that'll bring a lot of people that just the first night that Hayfield played, when they were downtown, it was neat because a whole bunch of people, from out of town that were like, I've been wanting to try this place, got to come in and eat. And that's, that's always pretty exciting.
So I think I don't know that this is set in stone, and I don't know if I can say this, but, June the 3rd is when, I'm supposed to start promoting it next week. So June the 3rd, Hayfield will be back for the dedication.
Yeah, I've heard a rumor about that. Yeah. That's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, we'll definitely, that's something that we're going to have to shoot to try to be open for. You don't want to miss anything like that. It's being right there on the corner,
especially with where the pergola is going to be right by your drive-through window.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things that we want to, make sure that we're a part of that.
So I've heard that there's going to be a common menu there, maybe Steve can have his menu, you have yours, Penhamo's, and people can, I guess, order or maybe from Facebook or maybe call you. I don't know. Yep. Is there any truth to that?
They haven't, I haven't really heard, they haven't asked us yet. I don't know if that's just because our drive-thru is just right there, but I mean, if they wanted us to, we'd absolutely do it.
So did you design your sign out front? Did you build it yourself, or who do you?
No, we just, first one we found on the internet that looked like a lab. We went with that. And then, there was just an argument over which way we wanted it to face, north or south. And then, one of my buddies.
He's facing south, right?
Yeah. It's facing south. And I can't really remember why it is that way, but we were like, there's a reason for it, but I don't know why. But no, we just had a buddy cut it out for us, and I think we're going to change it actually, pretty soon. I think we're going to drop the whole meat company off of it. It's, for whatever reason, I don't know why it's confusing some people, but we get a lot of dog meat people. I'm over it. I'm over it. But, yeah.
So it's just going to be black dog.
Well, we haven't decided and that's what, if you come down there to eat, that's what people say.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we're just going to go eat black dog today.
Well,
so,
we call the Mexican place pajamas.
Yes. But, no, I think we're going to scrub the meat company off of it. And, I don't know if we'll put anything up. We've tried to kind of brainstorm some ideas
mm-hmm.
and nothing's really stuck yet. So at the moment, it's probably just, black dog. If nothing else, it'd probably just stay black dog. So
what advice would you give another restaurateur that was, say they wanted to open up someplace in Booneville or a town like Booneville? What advice would you give them?
Don't do it. No, it's, I definitely think it would be probably the same advice that I got. And, this one, I talk about Steve a lot, but it was just keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he's right. There's nothing I hate more than a 5-page menu and not knowing what I want. And now since we've been in the restaurant, when we go somewhere and we see a big menu like that, I'm like, I would have a stroke trying to keep up with all this. Cause I told you everything kind of interchanges and we try not to have any ingredients that are just for,
right.
One thing. But, I would definitely say just keep it simple and, stay creative.
Mm-hmm.
And, it kind of depends on what kind of restaurant you want to open, but, I don't go cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like cheap ingredients and, I don't know, just stay creative and stay driven.
Right.
Someone asked me when we opened up, like, how long are you going to be able to do this before you get sick of it? And I'm not. I still look forward to going to work every day. I love it. I'm ready to go to work tomorrow. It's not always easy getting up in the mornings and
mm-hmm.
going, oh, we got to do it again. But, staying driven and, staying creative.
So how is it? There's gotta be a reward side to it. I know you put in the work. What's most rewarding to you about it?
Oh, 100% when a 70-year-old man comes in and says, I'm 70 and that's the best burger I've ever had in my life. And you're kind of like, phew.
I told you the story. And my father-in-law's from Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah.
And he told me that's probably the best steak I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, that's what keeps you going.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that, it never, you want to say it never gets old, but it
mm-hmm.
really doesn't when, I can hardly hear anything when I'm back there.
Mm-hmm.
And so people come up and, hey, and I'm like, yes, sir. And they're like, that was out of this world. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely the most rewarding thing.
Started on George Foreman Grill.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. just don't really even know where the start came from, but it was, I definitely didn't see it ever doing what it did right now, but no, that's definitely the most rewarding thing is the compliments from people that come from a long way away or older people
mm-hmm.
that, they're not talking crap.
Right.
They're being honest with you. So
right.
That's it for sure.
So as far as your supplier for your meat, is that like one of your trade secrets? Like you don't want that to get out or?
No, not really. We've got one supplier that sends us, the steaks and the meat. Mm-hmm. And we've had a handful of other people come in and go, hey, we'd like for you to try our product. And that's really the one thing we won't budge on. And
mm-hmm.
it's quite a bit more expensive, for us to get, but it is perfect every time we get it. And we get a ton of feedback, as this establishment 8 Iowa Premium Steaks, it's got a neat story. They only ship within, like 150-mile radius of their plant. There's one plant. They stay on corn and grain for like 200 days. They don't drink any pond water or creeks. It's all fresh water, fans, climate control.
Wow. So they're like the Japanese Wagyu.
They just believe that the low stress environment, mm-hmm. They're not playing music for them or anything like that, but but every single piece of meat that we get, there's no like, oh, this is a good batch. This is a bad batch. This must have been a better cow. They're all exactly the same. And so that's really it's not really a secret, because we tell everybody, but that is our one stitch that we will not ever, skip out on until they run out of meat. But besides that, everything else, we've got all of our suppliers carry pretty much the same products. And so we kind of juggle around. Sometimes one's really high on their price and some's really low, and they will tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we're having trouble getting this. You might want to check with so-and-so. And so
they're working together.
Not really, but they're nice enough.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want me going, hey, you know what? This was 10 times more expensive than this guy, so they're, and they want to keep our business too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, we've got 3 or 4 suppliers that we, and not only that, it goes with the shipping dates too. We don't have a very big area. So, which plays into another really good thing that's going for us, that we don't have any waste.
Mm-hmm.
But like I got to order things on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And so I might be out of something, and all 3 of those are different trucks, different suppliers. And
Mm-hmm.
so the meat is the only one that I've got to make sure, sometimes we'll run out, and, it's just, I can't get it from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we, no, we juggle time and money on it.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody's a lot more expensive on something, we'll use a different one for a little bit. But we typically stay with 2 or 3 of them.
So I'm kind of get off in the weeds a little bit here, but how important do you think the quality of your meat is to your health, or not just your meat, but your food?
Oh, to your health? Absolutely. We pride ourselves on, quality ingredients and quality meat and things. And it really shows. And it's not just with me and my wife, but, a lot of people that eat there all the time just say, one thing I like is that I get full and I don't feel terrible after. And
you stay full longer.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not as hungry.
And, you can go eat at different restaurants, and I'm definitely not naming anybody on it, but or kind of food, but you can eat somewhere and go, it just went right through me. I felt terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw a McDonald's out. I don't care, but you can go eat McDonald's and I feel horrible. I might feel horrible for 2 days.
Right.
And it's just, that the quality's not there, and you have no idea what's going into that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's, that would be I think it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of people that come in just to eat healthier, and, we got healthy options too. But, I always feel really good. And it's not just because of that I cooked it. I think the quality of things, really is very important.
So what does your daily routine look like?
Every morning, start to finish, definitely, like I said, wake up, get the kids ready, get to the store as fast as I can. And then it just goes straight into a long imaginary checklist that I have that is, we make like 10 sauces.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we don't make in the store is just ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise. But everything else, we make all that kind of stuff. And so that's usually first part of the daily routine is you got to go through and check everything. We slice our own meat. Nothing comes out of a bag ready for us.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to break it all down, cook it, smoke it, and then hope it's enough for that day. And so we don't ever, I don't get to plan for 5 days. We'll cook chicken today, and if it makes it till tomorrow, great. But,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably smoking chicken again tomorrow. And then,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just, keeping up with all that is a big part of my daily routine.
So what do you use to smoke it? Do you use like a Traeger grill? Or
No, I built a smokehouse, and it's really cool. It's just it's a big, huge room that you go into, and it's got gas at the bottom, and we'll put logs and pellets or whatever we got laying around. And usually I steal it from Steve. But, he's cool with it because it's not very much, but he goes through an enormous amount. He goes through a rig of wood a day, I think. And,
wow.
And I use like one piece, but no, it's that's what we use when we're smoking, and then anything else like that just goes on. We cook fresh right there on the flat top. So,
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's keeping up with everything is always the routine. It consumes my whole day. You joke, you're married to it, and
Mm-hmm.
you're right. And I could work down there 100 hours a week, or we're only open like 4 hours a day, and for lunch and breakfast and lunch, and I could easily have a room down there and stay there if you wanted to.
So do you have a flat top at home that you cook on?
No, actually I don't. I'm wanting to take one of those out of the store and take it home, but everybody's got these Blackstones and I've got a big, awesome grill that I love cooking on, but really it's getting home at 9:30. It's tough to even want to cook out anymore. We just try to throw something together as fast as we can. But no, I definitely, with that outdoor kitchen, it's a pretty cool setup. But anymore, it's got to be the weather's perfect and the flies are gone, and we live out in the country, so it's the flies.
Cattle farms all around you.
It's terrible. It's just almost.
So how do you
annoying.
combat that? I've heard people like put Ziploc bags of water and hang them up.
Just get angry and yell. Well, I can do that. That actually works. But no, we do the best we can. We try to spray, and like at the store, there's just really nothing you can do about it.
So there's no secret sauce.
No, just hope they're not bad this day. And just, we had a sign last year. We're probably getting ready to have to put it back up, but it's like, don't hold the door open unless it's for a little old lady or something. Get in and close the door. Yeah. It's like the flies are just coming in. But, no, we haven't, if there's a secret, we haven't found it yet. We've tried spraying like Pine Sol and stuff all around, but I don't know if it attracts them or gets them away.
I also heard like Irish Spring or something.
I don't know. Anything we try, I feel like they just get worse. So.
Like this guy, he's been here for an hour now.
He probably followed me into the store.
So what is your everyday carry? What do you carry in your pocket every day?
Usually just, my store keys are always right there with me. Normally I got my wallet.
What kind of wallet you carry?
It's one of those cool, like Ridge, little flat
Ridge
metal
line
things.
Yeah.
It's just good for wearing out cars and driver's licenses. You can't use it very long, but, no, that's pretty much it. I don't really carry a knife. All my stuff stays in my truck. If something ever goes down and I'm by my truck, I'm ready. Mm-hmm. But, no, that's pretty much it. Keys and very, very little cash. So if I'm the wrong guy to stick up, cause I got like $4 on me. Yeah. So you're not getting far with me, but, no, that's usually about it. And, from time to time, sunflower seeds kind of depends on
what time of season, what season's in,
which kid I'm going to go watch and what we're doing. But yeah.
Okay. Last question. What advice would you give a young person that's entering the job market now? Say they're graduating high school, they want to either go to college or they want to open a restaurant. Or what advice would you give to them?
I kind of hit on it a little bit earlier. It's just stay hungry, and no pun intended with the restaurant, but like when we had we've had people work for us, and it's very few that I wasn't happy with, very, very few actually. But, when we did have the construction company, I think like so many people are kind of entitled, just right off the bat, like, well, I'm not doing that, or I'm not doing that, or I should be making a lot more money. It's kind of like, just grind, stay grinding, and, good things will happen. And a guy that passed away a long time ago, Pete Butler, I grew up working, with him and my cousin, and that's what his advice to me was: work as hard as you possibly can every day, and you can't help but be anything but successful. And that's always been something that, I can't sit still. So, I'm always out doing something, and I don't expect everybody to do that, but trying to stay busy and try to go the extra mile, do something a little bit more than the other guy, and always outwork the person that you're next to. I think that those are just little qualities that always got kind of beat into me. And I think that it's made me the kind of guy I am today, where, I feel like I can do anything, and there's not a job that I can't do. I can work on cars and, just fix a house, do electrical work, plumbing and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that I think just comes from going, I can do it, and I want to know how to do it, and I'm going to do it. And I think a lot of people aren't like that anymore. Right. So I think my advice to somebody that really didn't know what they were wanting to do, it's just whatever you do, go learn everything that you possibly can. Pay attention when people talk to you. And I think that if I had any good advice to give, that's what I would tell my kids. How about that?
Very good.
That's what I would tell my sons. So.
Well, that's sounds like a real good place to end the show.
All right, man. Well, it's been awesome.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.